Hello and welcome to another episode of I'm Probably Wrong About Everything Live. Today's episode, we look at religion, faith, belief, why these things are important, why they matter, and we discuss that. So as you watch, please do post your comments, your questions in the live feed there. So I'd like to introduce who we have on our panel today. We have Jesse Daniels returning from last week. Again, we're talking about religion. So Jesse himself is a practicing Christian. So he's here today to share with us his views and his opinions on this topic. Now, again, this is very sensitive to people. Their beliefs are very important to them, obviously, right? Forms their worldview. And as such, in this conversation, while we may have differing opinions and views, it will always be treated with respect. We will never attack each other for what we believe or the things that we believe, but we will challenge them. So first up, we have Jesse. Jesse, how are you?
I'm doing good, Rob. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I can see that we also have another very special guest.
Yes,
Bobby was able to call in a favor, and we have the Pope of the Vatican City with us, Pope John Paul II. All right, here he is. We're going to pull him up.
On the left side at the bottom, just got to click the button. It has like a little, like, it's a check mark. Hit it, John. Hit it. No, we're live now. Oh.
What?
Okay, all right, here we go.
Bobby, where's John at?
Awkward, but he can't figure out the whole StreamYard thing. He figured out Zoom yesterday, which was great when I was talking to him, but I don't know. He can't figure it out. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I guess you're going to have to suffice.
I'm sorry. Will I do?
Yeah, no, you're going to do great. You're going to do great. So, yeah, we're talking about religion today, faith, belief, our worldviews, and why that matters to us. So we all kind of have different opinions, different beliefs on this issue. I myself am, I would say I'm anti-religious, but I'll explain what that means. But I do have beliefs about theism, about God, and we're going to get into that. So, Jesse, do you want to sort of say what your piece is on this topic briefly before we get into it?
Yeah, I guess I'm more so on the pro side. So I was born and raised in a Christian household, and for a long period of my life, actually, I've been on both sides. I have been considered myself a secular person, and then kind of came back to my faith later on in my life. So I can see it from both sides, but today I'm going to be, I guess, on the other side.
Now, remember, I'm an idiot, so you might have to define what secular means to me and all that jazz. But yes, wonderful. Thank you. Great religious elevator speech. And Bobby, how would you describe what you...
Well, a long
where you are on this
time ago, when the world started, there was probably dinosaurs. I really don't know. Maybe it was God. Could be dinosaurs. To be honest, I don't really have a single thing that I believe in. I kind of just go all over the place, and I'm just open to all kind of theories at this point.
So would you say, okay, you're open to all kinds of theories, so you have an open mind, you'd say. But it sounds like neither of us are atheistic. So for those who are watching, if you're atheistic, if you want to state those views and opinions, by all means do. We'd love to hear them. So before we get into it, I thought we'd talk about some current events. Hi, Chief, in your Twitch chat. Thank you for joining us. Good to hear from you again, my friend. So some current events. Today is the 96th birthday of El Haj Malik El Shabazz, which is Malcolm X. So it's pretty important event. His book, if I can recommend anybody to check out one book on, part of educating yourself in terms of Black history itself, as he is one of the most important figures of the 20th century. Check out his autobiography, Malcolm X, unreal book. Another person who unfortunately has passed away today, at I believe 79, was Paul Mooney. So that's unfortunate. Paul Mooney was a beautiful mind that we were gifted with, that challenged a lot of the racism at a very difficult time. And he was kind of behind the scenes. He was a joke writer for Richard Pryor at the Chappelle Show, which is amazing. We all watched growing up. So, just that's a very unfortunate loss. For those who are not really familiar with Paul Mooney, I have another book recommendation. Black is the New White by Paul Mooney. Both awesome books. So the other thing is, I thought that what we could do is a little aftermath. So we had our episode last week and we talked about education. I don't know if you guys were able to think more about that and had other thoughts, or if you're still just like, yeah, I'm open to it.
Yeah, education's good.
I'm glad you agree.
I didn't get more educated on education, so.
Right. Well, yeah, and we actually we have some feedback mail. I don't know if I want to call it fan mail, but feedback mail, because we interact with all of our people. Certainly not above our listeners, because as you all know, my IQ. So we have from James from Texas emailed us. And it says, last week you guys talked about education, and he asked, why are kids struggling so much? So thank you, James, for the question there. What do you guys think?
There's too many things for kids to be able to gain access to. There are too many bright and shiny lights that kids can click with the push of a button. And there's also this feeling of fear of missing out, that if you don't push the clicky shiny button that everybody else pushed, you might miss out on the cool thing that happened. It's no longer, when we were kids, I don't know if you guys remember a show when I grew up called Dragon Ball Z. And it seemed like, to me, for the longest time, the main character was supposed to do this transformation called being a Super Saiyan, which meant that he would change his hair and get a little stronger. But it took forever. It took episode after episode after episode, but we didn't have PVR back in the day, so we all sat around and talked about it afterwards, at school, like, oh, did you see that episode? It's so cool. Oh, my goodness, he did that, and then he did that. Wow. But now, you can just push PVR and you can binge the show. So that's why they aren't falling behind and everything, because, there's too much stuff, and you feel like you got to consume it all, and I honestly feel like it cripples them from being able to do anything else. Certainly, that's how I feel. There's too many shows on Netflix.
Yeah. Too many good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. To your point too, I think once you hit go grade 9, 10 or so, I think learning the basics in education is good. Your numbers, your letters and stuff like that. But I think there comes a point, and it might be in grade 9, 10, maybe 11 for some people, but you just get bored and you don't care about what you're learning. I don't care about, say, I don't know, maybe if algebra is around, or I remember there were some woodworking classes, some automotive classes for people that were interested in that kind of stuff. But I think there's too much, I don't want to go to English class if I didn't want to learn, real English class. It just never interested me. So I think I'd rather go home and watch Dragon Ball Z or do anything or think of anything else rather than really care what people are trying to force feed me. That makes sense.
Well, it's funny. I was talking to a kid today about this, someone that I work with, and they, as a counselor, and we were talking about classes, and I was like, well, what's your, it was their birthday, what's your wish for this year? And they said, I want to get good at all grades. I said, okay, well, what does that mean exactly? And then we talked about how you can fail certain grades. And what always baffled me was people who would fail English. which by the way, English was very difficult as a subject, but it just kind of was like, well, how did they actually fail English if that's their primary language? I mean, these are people who, if you attend class, that means that you're present and you're speaking English. How can you fail that class? Yet people did. So that always kind of was like, I don't understand. Now, where am I going with this? How am I answering that question? I don't even know how we got onto that, but I also think, to all of your points, that the FOMO and all of this kind of comes in because a lot of kids, and again, this is what I see in my work, have absentee parents. And that's not the fault of the parents either. I mean, apparently the price of cherries, it's like $10 for a bag of cherries. Where I'm going with this is that people are not being paid enough, right? We have to work longer hours. We can't even save that much. So we're always trying to get ahead. And who is this at the sacrifice is our families, right? We're working more overtime than ever. And if you go to places like Europe, nobody works overtime in Australia and Europe, according to the people that I know that live there. So in France and in Australia, although I think England works very, they're very much all about working till you die. And I just think that the most important thing is that you can be is just a person in your kid's life, a presence in your child's life. And again, I work with children, right? So, so many of these kids that I work with do not have full-time parents. And you're seeing how it's affecting them. In fact, how it's affecting them is they get FOMO, right? Their parents don't want to be with them. So they want to just be with their peers, right? And think about how fucked up that is. Excuse my language, from a human animal perspective, animal kingdom perspective. I don't know too many animals, mammals at least, because mammals are the ones that are carried in utero and then they have parents that kind of carry them along. I don't know a whole lot of mammals that are raised by the people their same age, right? A lot of them have the older adult that takes care of them, right? The kangaroo and the joey in the kangaroo's stomach, right? There's this attachment. You don't see wolf cubs raising up wolf cubs, but that's the problem in our society, is that kids are raising each other up. Kids are raising kids up. And you give them something like the internet with almost no boundaries, and there's going to be some serious problems arising from that. So that's my answer for that question, is that I think kids are struggling partially because of a lack of positive role models in their lives. It doesn't, and I don't care. You could be a gay couple. You know what I mean? You could be a gay couple, 2 men, 2 women, a man and a woman, whatever, but be present in your kid's life. Kids need 2 parents.
I know a lot of parents that are single dads and moms, and they're better parents than the parents that are still together, because they're actually, it's something that a restaurant I used to work at called is give a shitness. Like right. That was but that's you just need to be able to care more about your kids and their lives. Like, even if it's just, I remember when I was a kid, I called my dad. They were at church one day, and I think I had stayed home or something. I don't remember why. But I had just finished the game Star Fox 64 on the N64, and I was stoked. It was a huge accomplishment. I hadn't done it before. I've been trying for weeks, and I called my dad and I said, "Hey, Dad, I beat Star Fox 64." And he said, "Oh, cool. I gotta go." But like, and then not discrediting my dad at all, just saying, like, when kids have little things like that, like, Minecraft. One day your kids are gonna grow up and they're gonna want to play Minecraft, and you're gonna realize that this is a weird game that really there's no purpose except to put building blocks. But I mean, I played Lego as a kid, so what's the difference? But when I was done doing my Lego, my parents came and checked it out. And that's the important part. Even if you don't care, just go look at it and say it's cool. That gives them the ability to say, you know what? My dad cares enough to actually give a shit about my life and show that. And I think that to your point, if the parents aren't doing that, then who are they going to reach out to? Everybody that'll listen.
Yeah.
Just so I can make a pun, that in turn, you making the Lego can make the building blocks of something better in this life.
Where's the Pope? Is the Pope getting here soon? He's
trying. His connection's a little weak.
Yeah.
But no, but seriously, like if your parents come and check that out, and actually you do have a pretty good Lego set, maybe you want to become an architect when you're older. Maybe
exactly.
that one instance your child at that point goes, oh man, I'm actually good at this, and then that'll continue. And build
encouragement.
Right.
Encouragement is everything. I mean, I have one of the best jobs in the world. It's just, unfortunately, I'm paid in peanuts, and I guess you can't have anything. But like when I'm talking to a kid and I'm really like, we're really having a conversation here, you see like a sparkle in their eyes. So it's the coolest thing ever. Like you see them like come alive, and they're like, "This is cool, man. This person gets me." And then I proceed to like devastate them and win like 14-0 in Uno, and it's great feeling. I love beating kids in simple games.
Like Mario.
I'm just
Kart,
kidding. Yes, yeah. No, man, man. The thing about Mario Kart 64 is that everybody has an equal opportunity because of that bullshit blue shell.
Yeah.
Fuck that blue shell. Anyways, but yeah, no, the best thing you can be is a presence in somebody's life. I mean, fuck. I was at the dog park today and I was talking to this guy because, people with dogs, they're social people. If you own a dog and you're not social, man, I don't know. That might not be, you should own cats is what you should have done. Yeah. But anyways, just to be a bigot towards cats because I'm not a huge fan of cats. But anyways, so I was there at the dog park and this guy, we were talking. And you could tell he was like, he wanted to chat. Like we could have talked for like 4 hours. Do you know what I mean? And I think with COVID and all this craziness that's continuing to go on, that people are just lonely, right? So, and we're getting so cooped up in our homes and stuff that it's almost like we're forgetting how to socialize. Kind of like some of the dogs at the dog park. They're like antisocial because they don't get out. Yeah. And anyways, I was chatting with this guy. And again, I could see like, he was getting so excited. And my moral is if you have time to just chat somebody up, first of all, you're going to learn something. Guaranteed you're going to learn something. Like this guy told me that the dog park that we were at used to be a dump, used to be a transfer center. And anyways, but also I made his day, right? Like you could just tell. So chat people up. God, absolutely. Damn, we're going on a tangent.
Yeah. Let's get to it.
So, and then our other question is from Jen Hoffman from Cloverdale, BC, who is my wife, everyone. So thanks, Jen, for the other fan mail. And she asks, by the way, I forgot to mention, but we don't have Chris with us today because he's filming. He's at a shoot and he's got he's when that man is acting, that's his flow state. He becomes it. So that's what he's doing right now. So hopefully he'll be with us next week. We love to have him on last week.
Break a leg out in the scene tomorrow.
Yes.
We're sending good vibes from you today.
That's what you say, by the way, to actors. You never say, good, the 4-letter word that starts with L. You say break a leg. Yeah, exactly. You guys got
Hockey
it.
Puck.
So the question from Jen for Chris actually is, who do you like better, Cardi B or Nicki Minaj? Oh. So we'll have to save that one for next week because she knows obviously that Chris feels very heavily on the subject. So yeah, that's it for fan mail. If you have questions, in your Twitch chat is a Nicki Minaj fan. I feel like him and Chris are going to get along just great.
I mean, I'm a Nicki Minaj fan too. In your Twitch chat, I think Cardi B is, you know what? Hopefully I don't ever meet her one day because I think she's talentless and I don't really like her music. But I think Nicki Minaj is actually a very well-versed rapper.
Word of the day, by the way, word of the day for Cardi B is schlub. Have you ever heard of that word? Schlub.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a
But,
talentless bore.
if you don't think that Nicki Minaj is talented, there is a song on, I think
Cardi
it's her
B.
album Pink Friday. No, Nicki Minaj.
Yeah. No, I
I
think
think
Cardi
there's a
B is a
song.
schlub.
Yes. On Nicki Minaj's album Pink Friday, I think it is, there's a song called Grand Piano when she actually sings and she's not just rapping. And she's got talent, man. She's got it. It's just, you don't always hear it in the mainstream. But
And she's like, okay, hopefully don't cancel me, but she's sexy, right? Like,
yeah.
if she's not going for looking good, she's wearing the wrong attire. But
she's unique.
she made that look, that kind of
Yes.
lingerie, thick look. Like, I'm pretty sure she invented the word thick, THICC. And then Cardi B just totally ripped all of her shit off.
Yes.
There it is. Thick.
Yeah.
In your Twitch chat, you're a beautiful man. You're beautiful. I hope we get to meet you one day.
There we go.
I think I like Starships. I think that's the song I like.
Yes.
Starships. Okay.
Made to fly.
Jen, when she was a single white chick, she had a favorite Nicki Minaj song, and it was like,
it is that song.
It was similar. It wasn't Starships, but it was very like motivational party-esque.
Was it Pound the Alarm?
Nicki the Queen Minaj. There's Chris.
There he is.
I hope. Look at that handsome man.
Nice.
Oh, it was Super Bass. That's the one I like.
Super bass. Yeah, that's
Bass.
probably
Super
the one she
bass.
liked.
No,
I feel like we should save this topic till next week when Chris is here. He's got a lot to say.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah. So
Minaj.
So that was her fan mail. Hepatitis B is trash. I read it in his voice too. Trash. Beautiful. We hope that we can have him back on next Wednesday to fully disclose the Nicki Minaj versus Cardi B beef. So if you have questions, if you have things that you want us to talk about on here, we have the comments, but you can also reach us on our email at robsprobablywrong@gmail.com. So thank you everyone for sending us some mail. So today's topic that we wanted to discuss, much to the chagrin, I think, of someone in particular, but is religion, belief, and faith, and why these things matter. Why is it such a sensitive topic? So I was going to open up by saying that, well, how do I? Okay, so I'm not actually going to connect these thoughts.
I think the best way to say it is just say it. Just go with it.
Well, I'm going to lead into it. So everybody needs a set of beliefs to follow to give us order and direction. Okay. However, when the information that we receive seems to conflict with the stories we've been told, then it takes a higher level of intelligence to try and examine both sides, even though you're on one side. And I guess what I'm saying with this is that religion, in my view, is very mixed, but has a predominantly negative view. And I am a historian. That said, religion has given us order, right? It's given us laws. It's given us things that have helped to organize and order society, right? But that has come at the disenfranchisement of, thousands of groups. And this is something that we see throughout history, is that groups that are threatened by others oftentimes try to either assimilate or there's an erasure of them. And by the way, how states function today is predominantly influenced by religious practices down throughout the course of history, which is where Jesse talks about secularism, which I believe is a separation from the church. But again, this is not about, we're not cussing out one particular religion. We're not saying that, this is a bad belief, but this is a good one, because we know that that's problematic anytime a culture views itself for another culture as superior and another as inferior, that results in problems. So what I'd like to say with this is that only a fool would believe that an entire group is a representation of every individual. Only a fool would believe that an entire group is a representation of every individual in that group. So that would be like me saying all Christians are liars. Well, that's not a true statement, right? Or all Jewish people are rich, right? That also is a stereotype and not a true statement. However, we are able to look at these things and to try and pick them apart and understand them in a way that is representative of how our society needs to have conversations, because we're failing at having disparaging opinions and conversations. So did that kind of state where I'm at in this issue, that I think that there are pros to religion, but anytime you have the holding of power, there's a high risk of corruption. So anytime that there's an asymmetrical relationship between, the leader of something and the people who he organizes, there's a high percentage chance of corruption, not 100% chance. So you can have church leaders that are, bad people, or religious leaders that are bad people, cults, right? And then you can have organizations that are well run. And I think that the bigger a corporation is, or the bigger a club, a cult, whatever it is, the harder it is to manage and the higher the percentage chance for corruption. What do you guys think? Sorry, that was a long drawn out thing, but
yeah, no, you're completely right in the sense of historically accurate that religion has definitely been part of the reason that people have chosen to do many things, whether it's them hating a religion or whether it's them doing something in the name of a religion. It's always, it doesn't seem like, I think we were talking about this the other day, and where we've said it a couple times in our podcast, where faith is kind of how you choose to live your life. Religion is like the rules behind it.
Yes.
The only problem with this is when you get a human, humans are inherently evil. We are inherently, we want to do the bad things because they feel good, they feel naughty, they feel like we're in control of everything. And
I'm just gonna say I disagree, but carry on.
Sure.
Yeah.
And when you get somebody that's in that position of power, yeah, sure, they always start off with good intentions, or they always start off with, there will be mixed intentions. Like maybe I want to be a pastor of a church and I want to lead people through, the deity that we pray to, and everything's going really well. But then I want to take care of my family a little bit on the sides by using some of the church money to, I earned this. I'm leading them. I need to make sure that my family's provided for. So it's never like it's a bad reason. It's usually something to do with, pride, envy, greed, those things that all of the different theisms talk about as being sinful when they're in their extremity. The only problem with this is usually the religion says that if you make a mistake, it's okay. You just got to learn and try and do better next time. And we can look at that and take it a step further and say that every human in our past has made a mistake that we should have learned from. The only problem is every human also needs to learn every mistake. And not all of us are capable of doing that.
So I actually just want to apologize too, because I said I disagree with you, and what I meant to say is I disagree with the bit on human beings are inherently evil. I think, and I want to kind of talk about what you spoke about, just make sure I understood it. But
Sure.
My belief is that we're a blank slate, tabula rasa, I think they call it, or I'm sure I fucked that up. But anyways, it means blank slate, and that's how I think we're born. And it kind of peters into my beliefs about parenting, that if at a young age, when children cry when they're first born, They want to be held, they want to be taken care of, they want to feel protected. And I think that if a child isn't protected, and as it grows up, it continues to be not protected and is put in very unsafe and scary situations, that going back to the percentage theory, right? There's no such thing as in every case. There's no such thing as 100% of the time. But there's a higher percentage chance that because children feel safe, they do things to make them feel safe that can often be perpetuated as bad behavior, that can become criminal things. But it's done in the name, it starts out in the name of protection and devolves into something more sinister. So I don't think that people are born bad. I think they're born as again, a blank slate. And if we take care of our children, there's a balance between Dr. Gabor Mate, who is all about attachments and is all about understanding addiction, and addiction comes from a lack of attachments. And then there's Jordan Peterson, and they fucking hate each other, right? Because Jordan Peterson says you got to be tough. The world's a cruel place. He's very much a conservative, Gabor Mate, a liberal. And what I believe is, because this is the political, this is the quantum of conservatism and liberalism. Liberalism is freedom. People are good by nature. Nature is nice and kind. There's no such thing as a tiger that's hungry. And then a conservative is someone who thinks that society needs to be protected, right? That there needs to be order. So that's Jordan Peterson. And then Gabor Mate is a liberal. You need both. You need to teach kids that the world is a scary place. You need to tell them to look both ways before they cross a road, but you need to love them as well. That's what I believe. And then, sorry. So, and then to answer your point about, well, then what if people are born inherently evil? What makes them want to do good?
Can I throw in a quick thing?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So on your, inherently evil kind of thing, I do think that everyone has that kind of devil and angel on their shoulder sort of comparison metaphor. But if you ever read anything by or listen to Eckhart Tolle and stuff, it kind of has like that, your center point, the you that's in you. And you have that egoic mind, which is kind of that devilish kind of thing, which everybody does have. It depends on whether you listen to it or not, and whether you feed into that, or like the story about the two wolves, the good wolf and the bad feed. Which one you feed. So I think you are correct when everyone is inherently evil to a degree. Just whichever one you feed into is to the degree that you are evil, I guess, in that sense.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's essentially basically what the point I was getting at. Just saying.
So,
not just saying little children are, demonic little bastards, and we
you'd think that.
Yeah,
but I do
like gremlins.
I do think that in religion, there's kind of like a look at this one entity. He's an all-knowing God. He's your friend. He loves you. This stuff. And I think there is a little bit of you can get wrapped up into like the holiness of it when you're a child, and he loves you, and you're all carefree. And then I think there is an evil side to it as well. Not all religions and not all, say, churches and people and as we know, priests get a bad name. But I think there are instances, and then you hear about those bad instances that kind of ruin it for everyone. And then the good churches, the good priests, the good people kind of get swept aside. And
yeah, I mean,
it's unfortunate. But religion does get a pretty bad.
I mean, there's, like we said in the beginning, it's been well documented over the past history that religion has been the main cause of every single massacre, every single destruction. Maybe not every single, but usually there is some ideology behind what people are doing that has caused them to act this way. And unfortunately, you're right. More often than not, it's in the name. It's in the name of whatever theism they believe in.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of ironic to me that you would kill and murder and literally disobey everything. Like, I'm a Christian, so I'm going to go off that. There's the 10 Commandments. And these people that do things in the name of religion, they're kind of breaking the first 10 rules That's like if that's like right now, if you walk into a store without a mask on, that's the first rule, and you broke it, and then everybody's like, "Wah!" Everybody loses their minds. But like, these are the easiest rules, man. You don't steal, don't kill people. But they're saying they're doing it in the name of it. So in that sense, we kind of had this analogy we were talking about yesterday with faith is kind of like the delivery package that you're bringing, and religion is the vehicle. And the driver is the driver is the one that's corrupted. And so it kind of paints a bad picture with the vehicle they come in and the package they deliver. And just
like that.
People are the reason that these things happen. And then that's why we end up disliking them. And then we end up pushing each other further away. Like, the other night we were talking, and I let something that was said in our group chat I took it to heart too seriously, and instead of having a conversation, I let it attack me personally. And I think that that's another thing is
it's all right. We set each other straight.
Yeah, but people are just we don't.
God damn it, Jesse! Sorry.
It all comes down to
use the Lord's name in vain.
It all comes down to the same point, though, right? We're never going to get anywhere if we don't communicate. And if I can't hear somebody tell me that my religion sucks without me getting pissed off, by the way, that's not what Rob said. But if I can't hear someone tell me that, hey, what you think sucks, if I can't be like, okay, why? Or, it's okay.
Satanism rocks.
Yeah, if I can't talk to you about it and I'm just like, oh, I can't believe you would say that about me, then we're not going to get anywhere.
Here's and please tell me if this is a fully fleshed out thought, because I'm really good at half completed thoughts. But
sure.
We need to understand that we are on the same team here. And what loses wars, nothing's going to fuck up a war faster that's organized, a team that's organized, than than friendly fire, right?
Yeah.
So if we're taking each other out, our opponents, who are very real and very scary and don't give a shit who you are, if you're different than them, you're gone.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe me, listen to Zapir Alap's interview about a certain place in the world that suddenly has a lot of power. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but anyways, so if we can't talk and collectivize and try to understand our differences, and we just fight amongst ourselves, and I'm trying to genuinely understand you and prove a point, that war is going to be over in a minute. So we have to be able to work together. And, with things like gendered language and stuff like that, if somebody doesn't get it, rather than attack them, we have to try and educate them. So cancel culture is destroying us from within. And then the racist bullshit on the right and this fake news on the media, that's also destroying us. So we are being destroyed by the extreme sides of the political spectrum of our nation. And I don't give a rip what anybody says. It's happening to Canada too. It's just not as obvious. I mean, you hear it with the level of combat and conflict with vaccines, the thing that's going to stop this weapon, right? It blows my mind. Like, we're attacking our own country when, it's friendly fire, man. We're showing how weak we are. Sorry, go ahead.
All that is not somebody saying, I want to take my country down. If I looked at all of you right now and said, I'm not getting the vaccine, I don't want it, I don't trust it, that sucks. I'm not saying I hate Canada and I hope that we are exterminated off the face of the planet. The funny thing about this vaccine thing, and I actually read something the other day, I'm not saying I'm going to get it or I'm not going to get it. I don't want it to give me a blood clot, but that's a different story.
Blood clot.
The funny thing about free will, or not the funny thing, but it's free. You have the choice to make your educated decision however you want. And if you think that your educated decision is, I don't need the vaccine, I'm going to go outside, I'm going to get fresh air, I'm going to have some orange juice, get some vitamin D, some vitamin C, B12, all those good things, then I think I'm going to be all right. And if I get COVID, I get COVID. Or if you say, I'm going to do my part for Canada, I'm going to get that vaccine, and I'm going to hopefully be able to go to a concert in the next decade. Either one of those answers are correct. If you're a Muslim, or if you're a Satanist, or if you believe in paganism, Wiccan, you're Klingon, Scientology, that doesn't mean that you have to go around saying that everybody else's religion is wrong. That just means that, like, in my religion, I say this thing all the time. God gave us a brain not just to follow, but also to invent, to create, to think. Like, we're supposed to question. We're supposed to want to know reason. If we didn't, then we wouldn't have invented or discovered gravity, electricity, the theory of relativity, all these things we discovered because we were curious and inquisitive people. So why does that have to stop at religion?
So I'm actually gonna, to your point, you on this one. So I always try to think about things from like the quantum, like a reductionist theory, like how did we get here in the first place? Yeah. Well, who doesn't love a story? Now, just hear me out for a second. So religion, if you think about it, like if we didn't have something to bind us together, we would just be complete individualists. And we're seeing it kind of happen right now. I mean, just think about what you're connected to. I love the Eagles, right? The Philadelphia Eagles. They're terrible, but I'll never stop.
I thought he was talking about the band.
Yeah, and I love the band. You know what I mean? So I feel connected to those groups. Like if I saw somebody wearing a Hell Freezes Over shirt by the Eagles, I'd be like, oh, dude, this is my guy. Or I could talk about yacht rock with somebody. And anyways, you have a connection. But break it down to the quantum. When we were developing language and we were developing our ways of governance, because that's the only way that human beings survive, is tribalism. We're social creatures. That religion was something that was able to congregate us more. So we bound together and we were telling stories, right? And like it was like, oh, there's a snake over there or whatever. And then it would be like, that snake is a god, right? And that this is called animism. It's the localized belief in things. And then through these stories, we were able to expand because we could share them amongst each other. And we're like, oh yeah. But then those people, they thought that, the snake was good or something. And then we started fighting amongst each other. So what I'm saying is that religion, like you said, that has allowed us to create all these innovations, right? It's also been obviously abused with the storytelling. Like, for example, I think it's Ham. Religions, Christians in like the 15th century were saying that a rib was taken from Ham, and Ham was black. Ham's a character in the Bible, and Ham was black. And because of that, white people slavery was justified. But it was also religious people Christians who were like, hey, this is wrong and we need to get away from this. And they started the slavery abolishment movement, right? So that came from religion. So it's almost like there's the counterbalance and stuff.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yes.
The original came a telephone.
Yeah. And it's, again, it's trying to figure itself out, right? Because religion is, like I'm saying, it's the story told through people to keep them connected. It's the vehicle that Jesse's saying that drives us all along. So we need some form of organization, right? It's like my love for the Eagles. In a way, there's that kind of group bonding mentality to it. But then there's faith, and that's that individual thing. And I think that what makes us unique is that we're social beings, but we're also highly individualistic. I don't know what you guys think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is religion is necessary. We needed it to get here, right?
Yeah.
Keep people together. I gotcha.
Yeah. Wait, what do you guys think? Is that just my blowing smoke?
No, I think you got a good point here. I mean, like, the thing about religion, I kind of take it back to when I was a kid. When I was a kid growing up, I was taught that, we were created by God. The universe was created by God. And I was asked if I wanted to, accept him into my heart. And as a kid, you say yes, and I didn't really know what I was saying yes to back then. But I went along with it because mom and dad said it was okay. And, I had good naturing parents, as we were talking about earlier. So I respected them and their decisions and their thoughts. So when I got older, I became a teenager, as we all do. And the inequities of life, we'll say, or the pleasantries of life seems to be better than what I had already found. So I kind of wanted to try it that way. Try it my own way for a while, because I've always been a very stubborn person. I have to learn lessons the hard way every time, all the time. So for about 8 years, I kind of battled through that and couldn't really figure out why my life wasn't really going anywhere and wasn't doing anything. And I think it was actually when I started working at Boston Pizza, when we started working together.
Oh, you're going to blame me for this?
No, I'm actually going to blame the two girls I used to hang out with all the time that brought me to their church. So thank you. I came back to it on my own choice. And so
I thought you were going to blame me for the party.
Yeah, you drove me to God. Yeah, no, it's my point is that I was able to choose that, and I think that when everything in religion is all about choice. Like, you can say, I'm going to choose to be a holy person, a devout, righteous person, because I believe that that's what it means to be a Christian. Like, when I was a kid, I said I was a Christian, but I didn't do Christian things. So what was I really? And when you have, a leader saying, I want to exterminate every Jewish person in existence, because that's what I believe, that's, it's a choice that he chose to use that religion, but in a bad way. So I think when I say bringing it all together, humans are inherently evil to an extent, and the choices we make. So when you go back in history and you see all the monarchs that, did all the crusades, killing of everybody in the name of God, it's because we took a message and we made it our own. And that was the wrong message, obviously. The only thing that we can do in the future moving forward is we can, not kill people in the name of religion, because that's bad. That's pretty straightforward. And B, we need to be able to talk to each other. Like, I need to be able to have a conversation with somebody that believes that Satan is going to save the planet, and neither of us get angry by the fact that we don't like each other's beliefs. That's moving forward. What we do.
That way, you can either strengthen your own belief or maybe turn you. Who knows? Yeah. Maybe you see a different side, or they see a different side because of your part of the conversation.
Absolutely. I mean, like, what's that, Rob? I think you might know the answer to this. That guy, he's this man that kind of meets KKK members, and he's been converting his entire life.
Daryl Davis.
Thank you, Daryl Davis. Like, yeah, just say what you were saying, Bobby.
And Daryl Davis is a black musician.
Yes, yeah.
And he converts just for anybody who might not know, but he converts people from being KKK, like members of the KKK.
Yeah, thank you. That was what I was trying to say.
Through friendship, yeah. Sorry.
And that's, he's choosing to take his beliefs and use it for good. So when you're not going to take an example of, the most holy, devout Christian, you're not going to say, I don't know, George Bush. You're not going to say that. He might be a Christian, but you're not going to use George Bush as your golden example of that. You're not going to use your golden example of a football player as Cam Newton. Like, I mean, he might be a good football player, but he's not a good person.
Right. Yeah.
So
why are you a Christian? Well, George Bush was a Christian, man. Like,
there are Americans that are like that.
Christians
and that's the scary
out there.
thing.
George Bush. Yeah.
Yeah, but my point is, be the example you want your religion to be looked at as. And that's kind of like, I try to live my life. I have my best friends, their father is a Muslim. And my best friend actually converted over to the Muslim faith when he married this girl. And his father-in-law told him, be a good person first, be a good Muslim second. And that's not something you always hear people in faith say, but I like that he said that.
Hell yeah.
Because that's kind of how I feel. I feel like my ideologies in religion should not affect the way I look at people in a negative way, ever. And that's the
Right.
point of religion, man. That's Jesus, like, washed the feet of the whore of Babylon. Jesus would, in today's day and age, he would sit probably in bars, not in seminars. He would be helping the people that needed it. That's true faith. That's true religion.
You know how I know Jesus was a good person? He hung out with tax collectors. On Friday, I was on the phone with the CRA for 3 fucking hours. Let me tell you, that takes
that'll
takes a special person.
Yeah.
And actually, to be completely fair, the people that I spoke with at the CRA were wonderful people. Like, talk about a hard job. Like, you work for the tax collection, Canada Revenue Agency.
People are yelling at you all day. Like, nobody likes you.
You know what I did when I called them? As soon as they're like, hello, sir, like, this is my badge number. Like, they tell me their badge number so I can bitch about them after, right? They're like, hello, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hey, how are you doing? And there was like a pause on the phone. Like, what the fuck kind of a question is that?
Yeah.
But I asked them how they were, and then it totally changed the nature of the conversation. So, like, but you know what I mean? In customer service, like, when we pull a Karen, and which, by the way, I've met quite a few people with the actual name Karen, and they're wonderful people.
Lovely people.
Shout out to all the wonderful Karens out there who don't want to speak to a manager. But anyways,
my aunt's name is Karen.
Is she a beauty?
No, she's a bitch.
Oh.
He's like, no, I love you, Aunt Karen.
Is she
nice. She's good.
Oh.
She's good. I just want to make.
I'm glad I clarified. I'm glad I clarified for audiences so they didn't, be like, I hate Karens. Anyways, yeah. Where am I going with this? I forget. But
not all people suck. Not all Karens are terrible. Not all people have to be. Not all Christians hate. First of all, in the Bible, just a little side quote: God never said he hated fags, and he would never say that word. But
definitely,
not all Christians are like that. Not all Christians think that that's a sin. I don't know. Not all Eagles fans hate Green Bay Packers fans or Redskins fans or football team.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, like, you don't have to be the norm. You have to. My personal belief is, I want you to be the example, not be like, we were made in my belief system. We were made in God's image, and God's a shepherd. He wants us to be able to help lead people. He doesn't want you to be a sheep and just follow, but do it in a good way.
You know what's crazy about that? What you just said, that, God created us in his image. Well, as far as I know, we are the only animal that does create things like art.
Yep. Yes.
Like all animals play, you know what I mean? Like, or there's some form of play, like a bear will play with a stick and, whatever. All animals have some form of play, but not all animals create art. Like art for the sake of art. Like, yeah, they build a dung beetle makes a shit castle or whatever.
Yeah, or beaver makes a dam.
Yeah, which is a shelter, but it's not art. No animal creates art but us. And actually, I think that we can train primates too, which is kind of weird. But anyway, like, that's a tangent. But anyways, no other being creates art. So that almost falls into if we're created, yet we can create, there is something, there's something there.
I do like the idea with, it's not that we were made in God's image, but we were made from God. So if we are made from God, would that not make us God as well, or at least a part of God? And I think that's where kind of like that, people talk about souls and stuff like that, and like whether, body is just a vessel that holds a soul that might be into, I don't know, some ether that we have no idea exists. That could be heaven, maybe, possibly. I'm not too sure. I I don't believe that there's one single God, but I do believe that maybe everyone is, and maybe the earth and the universe is God, possibly.
And
So you're kind of going off of like that Men in Black theory where, like, the dog had remember the dog had the collar, and then in the
Yeah.
collar it was like a planet, and then that was in like a lock or something. There were more planets, and
Then
kind
the
of like
two
that idea.
things are playing marbles.
Yeah,
I think,
like,
and again, like Brian Greene, I don't know if have you guys heard of Brian Greene? He's like an astrophysicist.
I don't think so. No.
He talks about like the reductionist theory of things. And if you think about it, energy, right? It can't be destroyed. It can only change. But the fact that we have consciousness, like that we can think of an afterlife, that we can think now as we speak, the next thing that we're going to do, we have this ability of forward thought, is proof that like we are a God particle because we're able to think these things, therefore they exist. And if energy can't be destroyed, it can only be changed, then who's not to say that your thoughts manifest themselves as you think them in some parallel world or something?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
In this computer simulation that we're part of.
But
Maybe.
even as you think that becomes a thing that like exists within itself. And
wake
again,
up, Bobby. The Matrix has you.
Yeah.
Probably. I think I'm taking the wrong pills. Mine are all yellow.
Oh yeah.
Those are fish oil pills.
Yeah, those are good for you. They keep you healthy, lower your heart rate.
The one thing I really like about religion, though, actually, is so when you pray to something, maybe it's for someone who's sick, or maybe you're just praying for a good day. Usually, I don't know. Do you pray, Jesse?
Yeah.
When you wake up
all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe not every morning. I'm a little groggy in the morning, but
yeah, next morning.
Yeah. I need my coffee first, but
what you're kind of doing is saying thank you. Thank you, God, for this. Thank you, this. What that is gratitude. And there's a lot of studies there for gratitude and how great gratitude is. So say what you want about religion. People that are praying are doing the right thing.
Yeah.
I truly believe that is gratitude to its fullest.
There's so many motivational positive speakers that I read into or I listen to, and they all talk about their morning routine and how part of that is gratitude, or part of that is meditation, where they're just sitting and they're listening. And I think we've said on the show before that prayer is when you're asking, or when you're being, you're saying, being thankful and you're speaking. Meditation is when you're listening and you're hearing what's coming back. So whether that's somebody that's up in the sky that's, depicted in a white robe and a long white beard, or somebody that has many arms, or a flying spaghetti monster, you're or just nothing. You're meditating because that feels good for a human being, and that has to be proof of something, that this soul that exists in us, we can feed it. It's not just feeding my stomach, it's feeding more things in me, and that makes every single part of my body go better. So like, if you don't believe in God, if you don't believe in Allah, if you don't believe in anybody else, just believe in something.
Yeah. Something positive.
Yeah, something that makes your life better.
Yeah. And you know what? I think, what a great point, by the way, but I think we all believe in something, because if we didn't, like, we'd be dead. Like, it's almost like you can believe not to believe in anything. Like, I can believe that it's all hopeless, but I'm still believing something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if I fully believe wholeheartedly in anything, but I kind of go back and forth on different, I guess, theories at this point of like, okay, maybe there is a God. Okay, there's that idea. Then there's an idea of maybe we're a computer simulation. Okay, maybe there's that idea. Maybe we are just nothing and life's meaningless. Don't like that idea, but possible. And then maybe we're souls in an ether. So I mean, I don't really, I kind of look around and search for my belief. I wouldn't say I have one.
But even then, you have 4 different beliefs to choose from. Do you know what I mean? Like, you still have a meridian where we have to believe, right?
96
And
and 100th meridian.
pardon me?
96 more and I'll have 100th meridian.
Wonderful.
Great song.
Like,
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
But yes, but to that point, I mean, again, you ask yourself, well, what one has the best outcome, which is Occam's razor, right? Like, if I believe in something, then I gain everything. But if I don't believe in anything, I get nothing. But if I believe in nothing and there's something, then I don't get it because I didn't believe. So it's like, it's what one has the least, what one has the best chances of the best outcome, which goes back to, you know, everything is just probability. So, you know, you ask yourself then, I choose to believe that there is something. Also because, like, I don't know, man, like, it's just, the world is just way too crazy.
Yeah.
And I think that the way that we kill and harm each other is a representation, you know, of our own, you know, hurt body. Well, Bobby mentioned Eckhart Tolle, and that's the hurt body. And that goes back to this idea of only a fool believes that the majority of something represents every individual in that something.
Which is why politics suck. I'm kidding.
Yeah. But
You could
again,
take it
you have
and say that.
But you have a point that at the end of the day, we have to make conclusions on things. If we treat every individual as an individual, that would make how the system works burn out like an you know, like a then steam up and blow up, right? So we have to trust that. I mean, that's just how politics work, right? Democracy, that the majority will do the right thing, and that only a small percentage is and that only a small percentage is bad, is evil, like you said. In your Twitch chat said, thanks for praying for me. I just won 3 matches in Rocket League.
I had you on my
Awesome.
mind, buddy.
Yeah.
I don't even know what is Rocket League. Like, I don't know it.
The cars shoot the soccer ball or whatever into the net.
Man, when I was a kid, we played Twisted Metal and the cars shot each other.
Oh, that game was unreal.
That was a great game.
It was unreal.
Yeah.
He messaged us back. It's car ball. Awesome.
Car ball.
Well, yeah, I think that's a good point, is that, you know, I guess, is religion necessary? And I think that yes, it was, and certainly to get to this point in history. The problem is when we're told that, you know, we can't get along, or this group or whatever, or that other groups need to be taken out because they're a threat to us. Anytime we have this mindset of superiority and inferiority, you know, we're going to have problems. So that's
not religion anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But religion,
exactly right.
That's what I'm saying. Is that stopped becoming religion?
Yeah. I see. Yeah. So what is the purpose of religion then?
I think that the purpose of religion is, if you believe in something or someone and you believe in it to a strong enough point, you're going to live your life and adhere to a certain set of beliefs and morals that kind of align with that belief system. And I mean, if you don't, like I said, when I was a teenager, I said I was a Christian and I was getting drunk on the weekend. I wasn't a Christian. I might have believed in God, but I wasn't living like one. I think that religion is necessary because you need to have somebody to tell you, like, hey, don't drink petroleum, don't try and eat batteries. Like, you need rules, guidance, to kind of govern you need guidance, exactly. But I think the ultimate guidance of religion, I don't think whoever's right in the grand scheme of things, at the end of the world, when, you know, whoever's religion was the right one, I don't think any of the beliefs that we have, I don't think any of the people or the entities that we believe in, I don't think any of them ever wanted us to be hateful, sinful, and kill people that didn't agree with us. I think every single religion, and I mean, anybody watching, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure your religion wants you to be a good person first, and be kind and be loving. And I think religion, it helps us get there, but it also can lead us astray. But it's us ultimately that we're the drivers. We're not the vehicle. We're just the drivers.
Mm.
Stop hurting the fucking animals.
Yeah, absolutely. Cars. I hit a crow once. I felt so bad. I felt so bad.
You hit a crow?
I did. It didn't get out of the way, and I thought it would. And I was kind of like driving slowly. It was a suburban neighborhood, and he didn't die, but he kind of flopped away kind of awkwardly, and I felt so bad. I think I actually.
You hit a
I'm
crow
pretty
with
sure.
your car?
I'm
You
pretty
hit a
sure I
bird.
pulled over.
You hit a thing that could fucking fly with your car.
It didn't get up fast enough.
Why are you?
I think I pulled over to the side of the road.
Sorry,
I think,
but that's. I mean.
Yeah. I think I
that's
prayed
survival
for
of
it.
the
I think I
fittest.
was like, please God, don't kill this crow.
It was a crow. It was a crow that got hit by a car. You drive a car,
Hey.
not a truck.
Yeah.
That's a dumb crow, man. Anyways,
He
sorry.
did
I
not
feel
move
sorry
fast
for the
enough.
crow.
No, he's coming for me. He lives in Alberta,
We're gonna have-
so
we're
I
gonna
don't
have-
think he'll get me.
We're gonna have PIFA coming after us or whatever the
Yeah.
one is.
Cancel
PETA.
Jesse.
No, they're gonna cancel me because I laughed at the dumb crow.
That's true, yeah.
I was going down
I felt-
16th
like I said, I
one
feel sorry.
time. I was going down 16th one time, and I hit a dear friend of mine. I'm sorry, Jake.
Well, everybody, that was a Norm Macdonald joke of the week. Bobby is our resident Norm Macdonald impersonator. We call him Nearly Norm.
I'm just trying to be my dude.
I love it. Well, yes.
It's great.
We encourage it. So for those who are listening, thank you so much. This has been another edition of Probably Wrong About Everything Live. Please do send us some emails of what you would like to hear us talk about. We'll try and get another live host next time. John Paul II, we'll try and get him on next time. If you do have anything that you'd like us to talk about, please email robsprobablywrong@gmail.com and follow us at Instagram on Probably Wrong About Everything, right?
Yep.
Beautiful. Okay. What are we talking about next week?
Pancakes. The origin of pancakes. But to be serious, we do, just so you guys know, we are going to be having our 100th episode next week on Monday. It has been a year of chaos, and we have a very special guest. Some of you probably already know who he is, but this is not an episode you want to miss, and guaranteed you're going to love it. I listened to it, and I couldn't put it down. So I just wanted to say that. I'm excited.
Yeah. Couldn't put it down because it was in your ear.
Yeah.
I love it. No, we have Roger Steffens on, unreal guy. Man, you got to listen to that episode. He's Bob Marley's historian. Oh, we have Jen messaging us. Nice beer picture, Bobby. There you go. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Jen created a Twitch account apparently.
Nice.
For this.
What
That's
nationality?
What nationality are you? Where are you from? How old are you? Just for anybody who doesn't know, Jen is.
What was? Do you guys remember that thing we used to say as kids? We wouldn't say what nationality. We were like ASL.
Oh yeah.
That's what we'd always say.
American
like MSN.
American Sign Language.
Yes, absolutely.
That was age, sex, location.
Yeah. Location. Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
That sounds so creepy, man. Age, sex, location. That's what we were messaging each other.
That's what it was. The age of chat rooms and webcams and like. Yeah.
It's the original Tinder. Age, sex, location. Nah, I'm good. And then you fucking
Oh, because random people would message
34
us.
female.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
Those
No,
were
I don't want to
wild
talk to a
times,
34-year-old female. I'm 12.
Oh yeah, exactly. In like Alabama or something.
Yeah.
She didn't give a nationality, did she?
I believe. It's what Bobby's
I
asking
feel like
about Jen Hoffman.
There's a purpose to this question, I feel.
That's for the beer poster. Whatever it is.
Oh.
That beer poster all around the world, you can say, "Can I have a beer?" in whichever language you would like to speak in.
Ah.
In your Twitch chat is very helpful. He's saying, well, if he is 12, he can't be on Twitch.
I'm glad that things are better now, because I could get on
Yeah,
anything as a
man.
kid.
Yeah. Well, it's because nobody knew how to manage any of that stuff. So next week, I think what we're talking about is shame and shame culture. And hopefully we'll have Chris on for that one. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'm probably wrong about everything.
Hey.